Okay, welcome back to The Horror with Mike
and Nate.
And on this episode, we're going to be doing a quick review on Zachary Donahue's The Den.
It's his directorial debut, and here at The Horror, we're all about new talent.
Yes.
Whenever we can see a movie by a new voice, somebody trying to break in, and there's no better genre to break into movies than horror.
Absolutely. Just ask Peter Jackson. Francis Ford Coppola started here. A whole bunch of greats. Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Great place to start. So we're always looking for new people to support, and hopefully they become something. The Den, speaking of which, I thought was a very strong debut, especially for a found footage.
Yeah, it was original. It had a voice. It had a good story. And before we go any further, The Den is available streaming on Netflix now.
Yes.
It's also available on DVD and Blu-ray, but it's going to be most convenient for a lot of you to check it on Netflix. And
Okay.
I think we're about to explain to you why you should do just that.
Right. Well, the big thing I would have to say is in the world of found footage, it is few and far between. And now I'm very forgiving of found footage. If you hear some of our other reviews, we have ones up we even have a countdown of our top 10.
Yes.
Face off of our top 10 found footage. I tend to be very forgiving of these. This is one that I think, even if I wasn't a fan of found footage, I would have liked. So that is saying something.
It definitely brings that creativity. The entire movie is shot looking out from, or most of the movie
Yeah.
is shot from a laptop, the webcam on a laptop.
Well,
So
the whole thing, The Den, is a chat roulette style website. So that's where that comes
and later on, it branches out to some GoPro cameras.
Yeah, there's
and
some interesting developments.
There are some interesting developments which don't seem to make sense at the time, but
You're in safe hands.
Yeah, it does know where it's going, unlike a lot of horror movies.
Right.
In any event, this is without question the scariest movie ever to watch on your laptop.
True.
The way that it's shot with the icons and the window in window, and it's really smartly
it's
done.
very weird, but it's true. Some like the web design for a movie is worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Like their tech design or whoever did that did a very good job of all that stuff. It felt very real. It helps a lot in found footage to feel real, and this feels real.
Yeah, it really did. Now, I don't want to get into too much of the story because it's best to explore that on your own.
Right, and that's one of the great things, but it plays out like a detective story.
Sure, a
good old-fashioned detective
a researcher is just going to, like a lot of college pukes would think would be a good idea. Oh, I'm gonna write a paper on the psychology of people that use chat roulette. So
Right.
I'm gonna just spend all day every day chatting with people and see what they have to say.
Right.
And it takes not very long at all for her to...
It takes about 10 minutes for the inciting incident to kick in for all you screenwriters
it does.
out there.
I was about to say for her to discover something sinister, but something sinister discovers her long before she figures it out.
Yeah.
And you know
Then
what?
25 minutes into the movie, it kicks into another gear. Again, jokes for all you screenwriters. We're both screenwriters. It's jokes and jokes. Go on.
But this screenwriting format never gets in the way. It never makes itself apparent.
And that's something I wanted to say, and why I keep bringing up the screenwriting joke is that it's probably the best written found footage I've seen too. Because one thing you say about found footage is it works best when you can't feel a narrative driving force,
right?
Or that that it feels written. Found footage tends to work best when it feels made up on the spot, spontaneous. This is one of the few that feels written. And it's good because it is a tight script. If it would have been done without found footage, and that's another hell of a thing to say about it, this film wouldn't have been better made not found footage.
No, it would have taken away more money. Would have hurt this movie,
right?
And I'm not saying that it looks amateur. It doesn't. It's a very well made film, but with that shooting style, it allows them to be a lot closer to the ground. Now, another thing that I'd like to praise this movie for, and even though I watch horror movies all the time, I can't say this very often, but it's pretty scary. Like, there are some scares in it, but for me personally, the ending to the movie, the finale, made me go back, rethink the entire movie, and it made it all scarier. I thought the concept behind it hit really close to home as something that maybe could actually happen.
I guess that's true. I can't really say truthfully that it scared me. And that's probably just because I was too busy being like, wow, this is really like well done. Like, this is really cool, really involving mystery with a really good payoff that says a lot. So I don't think I was ever scared, because anytime maybe something scary happened, I'd be like, oh, good job, motherfucker, you got me. So I don't think it ever scared me, but it is some pretty chilling ideas in this.
Yeah,
but I had a blast, because I like to see a well-made movie.
You know, I think what got me about the ending is that, like a couple of other movies that I really like, there's something about it that made me feel complicit in what I had just watched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to avoid being spoilery.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But that reveal just put it, like, if it had just had like a normal horror movie ending, I still would have really liked this movie. It was very well made.
Right.
But it was just the cherry on top, just mwah at the end.
Yep. So, we'll go ahead and jump right into the end here. So, what would you give as your final rating on Zach Donahue's The Den?
I'm really torn between a 7 and an 8 on this one. I may regret this. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10, just for that visceral punch. You know, I love it when something in a horror movie upsets me or gets to me, and I just, not that it literally feels like I'm being punched, but that's the analogy I made.
Wow,
I would love for a horror movie to give me a punch, and the ending to this movie, I thought it was overall a very good movie, but I really liked the takeaway from it.
Okay, well, damn, that's higher praise than even I could give it. But I would definitely go with an 8 too, just because, it's a little early to say what a classic it is, and only having seen it once. But I would definitely give it an 8, and it has a lot to do with all the things that should work against it and tend to work against movies. Right. That us saying all this praise, you still might hear parts like found footage, or there's a narrative structure to it, or it has a surprise ending. Not really, but I might be saying stuff. We might be saying stuff where you're like, nah, not for me.
Right.
It has so many things kind of working against it that it gets extra love, that it still pulls all those things off.
It did them right somehow.
Yeah.
And,
so, I mean, it's
so I definitely have my eye
cool.
on this director in the future.
Yeah,
because
does he have anything?
When I checked IMDb, it says he doesn't even have anything in pre-production, and that is a crime.
Oh shit! Really?
Because this is his debut,
and he's the writer of it too.
Yeah, so now that he's got a little experience under his belt, he should be able to do it again.
Jason Blum, call this guy up.
Yes, you absolutely need to do that.
Shit. All right. Well, that would end with a 8 and 8.
Yeah. So we have reached a quorum on The Den.
Nice. And the fact that we both so wholeheartedly agree with it, too. That's got to be something good going right there. So, 8 out of 8, 8 out of 10 for Zach Donahue's The Den. Go ahead, check that one out. Maybe it's one even to buy. If there's a good audio commentary, good making of, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and if you have the chance,
this guy,
watch it on your computer or your laptop. It gives it like another level.
Nice.
You know?
All right.
Sometimes you can forget whose icons are whose in the background of the shot. You know?
Yeah, I didn't watch it on my laptop, but that's true. So we are wrapping up this episode, and we will be back with more The Horror for you guys later on.
See you next time.